All right, this is going to be the second part of 8.3, and it's going to be the transformations unit, or the section of the notes that we didn't get to, or Mrs. Carlucci didn't get to. All right, let me see here, where can I put this? All right, it says the most simplistic quadratic equation is y equals x squared. Okay, so y equals x squared. If we did a, let me just put this on the side right here. So y equals x squared. If you did a little table right here, if you put this lower thing right here, sorry, it's really bad. Okay, 0, 0. Let's just say you put 0 in here, so 0 squared is going to be 0. If we made a -1 and -2, and then 1, 2. -1 squared, -1 times -1 is just 1. And then -2 times -2 is 4. And then 1, and then 4. So this is your very, very basic, or your parent function of x squared. Right? This is known as the parent function. All right, a transformation is a change to the size or shape of a figure. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to remember that our equation is y equals, in vertex form, a parenthesis x minus h squared plus k. Okay, remember that your vertex, or your axis of symmetry, is going to be the opposite of whatever h is right here, and then your vertex is going to be hk. All right. That being said, we are going to solve some of these problems. We're not going to do every single one of them because a lot of them are going to be redundant of each other, or might do just a few of them. All right, so we have number 7. I'm going to use the side of my paper quite a bit. I'm going to use a pencil too until I get to the graph. All right, so 7. The very first thing we're going to do, hopefully you guys can see that, is solve this for the axis of symmetry, and then put the vertex, and then make our table. And they already have your parent function here. Okay, so it's on every single one of them. That's your very basic quadratic equation, y equals x squared. And we're going to figure out how it's going to relate to y equals x squared here. So your h is the opposite of whatever it is right here. So it's going to be -2. H equals -2. And then your vertex, you're going to plug it in. So y equals -2 plus 2 squared. Okay, so -2 plus 2 in your parentheses is going to be 0. So 0 squared is just going to be 0. Okay, so then your vertex is going to be -2, 0. And you're going to plug that in here. -2, 0. And then you're going to make them less. So -2 less than that, -3, -4. More than that, -1 and 0. Now you're going to plug in here, and I'm going to use my calculator. So I'm going to do -4. So parenthesis, parenthesis, -4. Close your parenthesis, plus 2. And then squared. I get 4. Second, enter. Backspace, wherever you have -4, you're going to put -3. Enter, and you get 1. Second, enter. You already have -2, so I'm going to do -1. And I get 1. And then 0. Second, enter. Delete your negative. Push 0. Enter, and you get 4. Alright, so this is what you're going to graph. Okay, so I'm going to do this in pink so it shows up a little more. Alright, negative 4, 4. Negative 3, 1. Negative 2, 0. Negative 1, 1. And 0, 4. Okay. So what you're going to do is figure out what it's doing right here. So right here we moved left. So we move left, and how many did we move left? We move left 1, 2 spaces. So left 2. So if what is 2 on your equation is going to be this right here. So now it says positive, but if you look right here, your h is really negative. So if your h is negative, you move left. And you're going to move left however many digits it tells you to move. Alright, next one. Again, same exact thing that we just did. H. Right now we have x squared plus 5, so I can't use the vertex formula. I'm just going to use negative b over 2a, so negative b over 2a. So it's going to be, we don't have a b, so it's going to be 0 over 2 times 1. So it's just going to be 0 over 2, which is just 0. Plug 0 in, so y equals 0 squared plus 5. 0 squared is 0 plus 5 is just going to be 5. So our vertex is now 0, 5. Put it in right here. Less than that, 1, negative 2, 1, 2. Use your calculator. I don't know if you guys can see that very well. Turn it up as much as I can. Okay. It is parentheses, negative 2, parentheses, squared plus 5. And it's 9. Second enter. 6. You're going to do 1 now. Second enter, get rid of that negative, delete. 6. And then 2 should be 9 just to make sure. And 9. Alright, I'm going to graph. Negative 2, 9. 1, 2. Negative 1, 6. Oh, sorry, that one doesn't go there. Negative 2, 9 is way up here. I thought there was 10 places. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Sorry, that one does not go there. It goes actually up here. Sorry. 0, 5. 1, 6. And then 2, 9 is going to be up here again. Sorry, I made a mistake. So it's going to be like this. Okay, so what is it doing? It's shifting up. So you're moving up. And then you're moving up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 spaces. Okay, so 1 on that is 5. It's going to be right here. Okay, so when, so this is actually going to be your K or C, really, is positive. Move up. Next. All right. Same thing. H plus 1, so it's going to be negative 1. Plug it in, y equals, parentheses, parentheses, negative 1, parentheses, plus 1 squared minus 6. 1 plus, negative 1 plus 1 is 0, 0 squared is 0, so y equals negative 6. So it's going to be negative 1, negative 6. Okay, negative 2, negative 3, 0, 1. And then I'm going to plug it in, parenthesis, parenthesis, -3, close it, +1, close it again, squared minus 6. So that's -2. Second enter, -5, -6, and these should be the same. -5, -2. Graph it. -3. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. -2, -5, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. -1. 0, -5. And then 1, -2. Okay. Okay. So this is my graph. What is it doing? Oh, did I mark it wrong? I sure did. Okay. Let's not do the purple. Or let's not do the pink. Let's do the purple because I made a mistake. It's very hard reading these. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2. That one's right. -2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That one's right. -1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 0, -5. Oh, that is right. Okay. Sorry. Alright, so what is happening? You are, again, this is this positive one right here, which is really a -1. So it's going to be moving left. One. And then you're moving down. 6. Alright, this next one's pretty important. So you can have more than one in that one. Let's see. This one you're moving up. This one you're moving left. Alright, so here, H. +4, plug it in, negative. So notice that negative is on the outside of that parenthesis. That's going to do something to this. 4 -4 squared +1. So it's going to be 4 - 4, 0, 0 squared +1. But remember, this negative is going to come down right there. Let me see. So let me see what we have here. -4 -4 squared +1 is +1. Okay, so we get 4, 1, 4, 1, 3, 2, 5, 6. All right. Now I'm going to put my 2 in, enter, put my 3 in. Okay, so I have -3 and 0. And then it should be 0, -3. All right, let's graph this one, see what happens. 2, -3. 3, 0. 4, 1. 5, 0. 6, -3. Okay. So what is happening? So here, so So now your h is going to be positive. So and so it's going to move right. So it moved right 4. So this is going to move right, and then it's going to move up 1, but this negative right here means it's going to flip. So it's flipped. Okay, so whatever it is, it's going to just, so make sure you look at that negative, it's going to flip everything. Okay, so it's flipped, moves up 1, and it's right 4. All right. I'm going to concentrate mostly, well, 11 and 12 are important because it does something different. So let's do this one again. H is going to be your negative b over 2a. There is no b, so it's going to be 0 over 2 and times 3, which is just 0. Plug it in. 3 times 0 squared minus 7. 0 squared is 0 times 3 is 0 minus 7 is going to be y equals. So it's going to be 0, negative 7. Less than, negative 1, negative 2, more than 1, 2. Plug it into your calculator. 3, parenthesis, negative 2, parenthesis, squared, minus 7. And you get 5. Second enter, negative 1. You get negative 4. Oh, is it negative 5? No, negative 4. Then we get negative 7, and then negative 4 and 5. And we're going to graph this. Negative 2, 5. It's right there. Negative 1, negative 4. It's right there. 0, negative 7. 1, negative 4. 2, 5. Okay. So you can already see how much steeper this is like growing. So this 3 right here is like your A. So let's just call it that it's more narrow. So the 3, or your A, when it's greater than 1, it makes it more narrow. Greater than 1 is narrow. We've had this before, so you should kind of remember this maybe a little bit. Okay, so narrow, and then negative 7 is going to move it down. So down 7. Oops. All right, last one. This is 12. H. Opposite of negative 3, which is 3. And plug it in. So y equals, let's just plug it in right now. Negative 1/2. If you want to use 0.5, that's fine. Negative 1 divided by 2. And then 3. Minus 3. Squared. Minus 2. Is negative 2. That's going to be a little bit more tricky to put in. So it's negative 2 Alright, so we have our 3, -2. 3, -2. Alright, now we have our equation and second enter. I wouldn't want to enter that all the time. 2, -2.5. Oh, sorry, 2, 1, 4, 5. And it's -2.5. Second enter. 1, -4. So again, this is -2.5 and then -4. Alright, let's graph this really quick. Well, you're going to graph it to the best of your ability, but you can already see that something's going on here because we have 0.5s. Alright, so -1, or sorry, 1, -4. 2 and -2.5. 3 and -2. 4 and -2.5. 5 and -4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. Alright, so a way to think about this is if it's greater than 4, sorry, if it's greater than 1, your slope goes up really, really fast. If it's less than 1, your slope is going to be small, like kind of like a bunny hill. If I was going skiing, I'd probably start on a half of a slope versus 3, because the 3 would be a lot more steep. Alright, so what else is going on here? So we have -3, right? So it's going to be positive, so we're going to be moving right. So it's right 3. We also have this -2, meaning it's going down, down 2. So my 1/2, -1/2, there's two things happening there. One, it's negative, so it's going to flip. And the other one is 1/2. So 1/2 is less than 0. So if A is less than 1, I'm going to say that's wider. It's wider. So it's flipped and it's wider. Okay, so 4 things happening there. Alright, let's put things together. I don't need a calculator anymore. Alright. Put it together. So here you have your equation. So H is the horizontal shift. So this one moves left. So the positive shifts left, the negative shifts right, exactly what we just said. K is the vertical shift. So again, positive moves up, negative moves down. If A is negative, the function is reflected. This is when we said it flipped across the x-axis. I'll just put flipped right there. Okay, A is greater than 1, and we said this was more narrow, or you may see a word that says stretch. Okay, stretches it out. So if A is less than 1, okay, less than 1 but greater than 0, okay, less than 1, you're going to have a wider, it's going to make it wider, or you might see a word that says compression. Okay, compression. All right, so it wants us now to write the formulas. So we're going to do that right now, and then we're going to be done. So it says transformation from the parent function, so we're going to use y equals x squared and then kind of add on to that. As described below, write an equation to represent the function. Translated 2 units right. So we're always going to start off with y equals 2 units right. So if you look back at your notes, 2 units right. When did we move right? When did we move right? We moved right here where it says right 4. And what happened? It was -4 right there. So you want to have it moved translated right. So you want it negative. So it's going to be x minus 2 squared, because it's going to be squared no matter what. 14, translated 5 units up. So what did that look like? So again, we're going to start with this y equals x squared and add on to it. So y equals x squared, because when you shift up, then it's going to be the vertical change, so you need a k. So we're going to put plus 5. So just look back at your equations. Okay. Let's see. Sorry. Okay, so again, look back at your equations. Sorry, my phone's gonna die. So I better hurry up. And plus 5 is gonna be your k. Translated 3 units left, so we went left, and then 4 units down. So y equals. So what's happening there? So if it's going down, it's going to be a minus k, and if it's going left, we want it positive. So it's going to be x plus 3 squared, 4 units down, minus 4. Translated 7 units right and 5 units up. Y equals x minus 7 plus 4. All right, I would, if I were you, stop the video and do 17 through 20 on your own, and then see if we end up with the right thing at the end. If so, then I think that you are good to go. If not, then we need to come to office hours and practice a little bit more with me. All right, so go ahead and stop the video, and then unstop it, and then you can check your answers. Okay, so you should get x squared minus 3. This one's going to look a little bit different. Y equals negative x minus 5 squared minus 2. Y equals 1/3. I think we can put the x squared. Let's see, vertically compressed by a factor of 1/3, then translated 8 units up, 8 x squared plus 8. We just don't have a b in there. And then 20y equals negative 2 x plus 4 squared. Again, if you're ever having trouble with this one, come to office hours tomorrow or Friday, or talk to me in class. We're going to do these 2 in class. All right, stay tuned for the next one, because we're going to do note cards for these.